Welcome to Roll to Hit Gaming's favorite games, holiday style. For Roll to Hit Gaming, I'm Lucas.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Chip.
So Christmas is fast approaching and we wanted you to be prepared. So we've put together a holiday guide for you.
We've selected 5 categories and we're going to give you our favorites from each one of those. Starting off, stocking stuffers. Lucas?
My choice for stocking stuffers, since it's got to be small to fit in there unless you have a massive stocking, my choice is Mintworks. This game came to Kickstarter a couple years ago, and it literally fits into an Altoid-style mint can, and it's just a miniature worker placement game. And it doesn't sacrifice gameplay for being that size. You're in the city of Mintopa, you're placing your workers to gain more mints, and then, there are different victory conditions. It's also got 4 different, all really cool solo modes to it. So it'd be great for on the go, for that solo gamer, or somebody who just likes worker placement.
Yeah, this is a great game that I take around when we go out to restaurants and things because it doesn't take up a lot of real estate on the table. Great game.
Well, for mine, we just got back from BGG Con and we pulled out of the library this game from Emperor S4, and it's called Mystery of the Temples. It's a tiny little box game in which you are going to different temples and there's a curse on them. So you have to break the curse, and in order to do that, you have to collect gems. But the gems have to be submitted in a particular order. And the way you place your gems on the grid will determine the order that you can pull them off. Once you put them down, though, you can't pick them up, so you got to think ahead. Quick, fun, easy, and fast. I really enjoyed this game, Mystery of the Temples.
And for me, it's going to be Roll For It by Calliope Games. This is another really portable one, but it also comes with enough components to take. If you're going to take it out to a restaurant or things like that, you've got enough for everybody at the table to play. Doesn't take up a lot of space. You're rolling dice to try to capture cards. The cards will have a certain set of dice rolls that you have to make to capture them, and it's as simple as that, but really fun and easy to learn, even for non-gamers.
And there's your Roll to Hit Gaming stocking stuffer ideas.
Our next category is picking it for the kiddos, and my choice is Mechs versus Minions. This is from Riot Games, and it's for 14 plus, so I'm focusing on those teenagers. Mechs versus Minions is a game to where it's almost like a video game, but it's on a tabletop. And you go into this, you're doing programming in order to move the robots that you've created around, and there's little minions everywhere that you're trying to destroy. And you have objectives. So it's an ongoing campaign almost. It's a fantastic game for the kids and adults too. So that's the one I picked, Mechs versus Minions.
So it's a tabletop MOBA.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to choose one that I haven't actually acquired yet, but I've always been keeping my eye out because I think my kids, especially my younger kids, would really love it. It's a game called Gulo Gulo, and I'm not exactly sure the actual publisher, but Rio Grande, I believe, brought an edition to America. It's a little bit difficult to find, and it's a little bit pricey because it's wooden components and that kind of stuff. But I think it's a really great game for kids, especially, like I said, younger kids, because it really helps to develop manual dexterity. So in Gulo Gulo, you are a family of Wolverines whose baby Wolverine has been taken by the evil vultures.
Oh my.
And taken back to their nest. Well, you have to go and rescue them from the vulture's nest. However, you are distracted by all of the delicious vulture eggs that are strewn about. So you have a cup of wooden eggs, and into that cup you place a dowel that has another egg on top to act as kind of a counterweight. And so it'll be, standing straight up as the game begins. You turn over tiles that tell you what color egg you have to pull out of the bowl. And in doing so, you're loosening the dowel, so the dowel will naturally start to fall. And if the dowel falls, you have to move back a few spaces and things like that. So it's really, like I said, it develops the manual dexterity to get in and grab the eggs and stuff like that. But it's a fun theme. And if you make it all the way to the middle of the board, the middle of the tiles, you have a chance of finding your lost little one, and you have to pull the purple egg out. And if you can do that, you win. Otherwise, you're sent back a few tiles. So really colorful, really fun game for small kids or just family game night. It's called Gulo Gulo.
That's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Mine is a game that we actually bought for our youngest several years ago. In fact, if you go back and look, it's one of the very first videos on the channel. I don't really encourage you to watch it because it's painful. We've learned a lot since then. But the game was good, and that's Ticket to Ride First Journey. Like I said, we got this for Joey. And the rules are the front and back of one page, and after one play, he had it, never asked another rules question. A lot of people play Ticket to Ride with their kids, but I think this one can go down in the 4 or 5 year old range. It takes out the concept of, takes out most of the blocking so that it's not as mean, and then it takes out the concept of you get punished for not being able to complete routes. So it's really the two biggest differences. Other than the way it ends, which is going to be either scoring a number of tickets or running out of your little plastic trains. It's got really nice components. The trains are a little bigger than the normal ones, so they work really well with the kids. And it's a condensed map of the United States with great artwork all over it. Fantastic production, fantastic game. Ticket to Ride First Journey.
We've also used this for our Tiger Cubs for our game nights, so it works, and they're like 6, so it's continued to make them happy too, and they're always excited if I bring it again.
Kids games. So now let's talk about 2-player games, and my choice is going to be Onitama by Arcane Wonders. This is a sort of a variation on chess, I guess I'd call it. You're a sensei or a dojo master or something. It's very abstract, but it's a very pretty setup to the whole game. You have I believe you're the sensei. You have 4 little guys that work with you, and essentially the game begins in setup. You draw 5 different cards. Your opponent has 2, you have 2, and then there's 1 to the side. And each one of those cards has a specific way that your guy can move, and those are all the moves that are ever going to be in the game. We found out after first play that all of that is public information and not, in fact, secret. Thank you, Joe. But
it was fun.
But it was fun, actually, to keep one secret. It's kind of, you drop a bomb on your opponent every once in a while. But it's a really fun game, and it has that same kind of thought mechanism as chess. You're kind of looking to see where you can move and not give your opponent the advantage. The winner of the game is the one who can either cause their opponent sensei not to be able to move or to knock them out, right? Or put them in a position where they get knocked out. So.
Or you take over their dojo.
Or you get either a soldier or your sensei into their dojo, their starting position. So a really fun game, and not too big a box. It's rather portable, So that's Onitama by Arcane Wonder.
They've also come out with an expansion for it called Sensei's Path. It doesn't change the game at all. It just adds more cards, which just adds to the fun.
Yep. My 2-player game of choice is 7 Wonders Duel. And I actually enjoyed the original version of 7 Wonders. However, I always had this thematic hang-up because unless you were playing with 7 people, you weren't actually going to build 7 wonders. The 2-player version changes that. Now, there is a 2-player version for base 7 Wonders, but I never felt like it was all that great. This fixed that problem completely. First of all, you do build 7 Wonders between the 2 of you, and the way you are drafting your technologies and building your civilization as you go along is just butter smooth. They couldn't have done a better implementation of 7 Wonders into a 2-player specific game than they did right here.
Yeah.
That the pyramid, the way you build the pyramid, and you kind of see what's coming up type thing, that was really interesting too.
Yep.
And they really simplified war and technology down to just scales and tokens. I really like what they did with it.
Well, I went with something light. It's Manhattan Project, Energy Empire. This is a game by Million Games. It's a sprawling board game, but I like it best with 2 players because it's nation versus nation. It's a worker placement. You get to chuck dice. And it's an economic game too. So you've got all the tasty bits that you want from a Euro game, but it's sprawling and it's exciting, and there's environmental things. There's just so many things that you have to keep track of, but it's engaging. Time just flies by, and it's one that I really enjoy, and that one is Manhattan Project Energy Empire.
It almost feels like it has a hint of push your luck.
Yeah.
Because at the end of each turn, you don't just get your workers back.
Mm-hmm.
You place out workers until you're done, and when you need workers, you have to do a recall action, which is going to take that entire turn for you to recall your workers, roll your dice, and get more energy. So it's kind of a how long do I go before I pull my workers back?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of balancing act there. And then as you buy the technologies on the board, they become new worker placement spaces for you alone on your side. She called it light. I think it's a little more than light. It's a really good game.
Very nice. Those are our 2-player games.
Next up, we've got our games that we think every gamer should own. So if you know somebody who doesn't have one of these, we think they'd be a great choice. Mine is from publisher Stonemaier Games, and that's Viticulture Essential Edition. We've talked about this one before, and every time we've talked about how the theme is just perfect for a Euro game, and it really is. And you get immersed in it. It's a pretty much run-of-the-mill worker placement game. However, there are visitor cards thrown into the mix that you'll gain as you go throughout the game, and there are plenty of actions for you to take to get more visitor cards, and these will all give you some little benefit. They may cost your opponent something. A number of them give you a benefit, and your opponent can follow along if they're willing to do X to gain that benefit. There's a really, really deep game in here for somebody who likes that attention to detail. I think a great one is Viticulture Essential Edition.
My favorite part of that is with the number of workers that you have to determine, okay, am I going to do a summer action or a winter action?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you use all your workers in the summer, then you're not going to have any actions for the winter. It's that balance of, what do I need to do to get what I need?
Get yourself a plate of grapes, some sliced cheese, and a nice bottle of Mad Dog 2020, and enjoy this game because it is really, really a great game.
For my choice, it was an easy one. You got to have Pandemic somewhere in your library. There's so many to choose from, but my choice is Pandemic Iberia. It sets you back in time to where you're not trying to cure the disease. You're just trying to stay ahead of it. You're trying to treat it. It's old world style, and you have a railroad man who's laying tracks so you can get to the cities faster because, you don't have the technology like you do in regular Pandemic. You've got a nurse, you've got a herbologist, you've got so many things the theme just comes out, and it's hard to do theme in a Euro game, and Pandemic is a little bit not as strong in theme, but with Iberia, you see it, you taste it, you feel it. So that would be my choice. If you had a Pandemic game on your library, get Iberia. Yeah,
we had to double up on this one. I didn't choose Iberia because I haven't played it, but Pandemic, I think, is definitely one of those games where everybody needs to either own it or at least have played it.
Have one version somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, mine is, I guess you could call it a board game classic at this point. It's Carcassonne. Z-Man Games is the major producer in America. Tile placement, it all just kind of goes back to the explosion of hobby games in America. It came out in the year 2000. And essentially, it's just a game of putting tiles down on the table, matching them up either to a road, a field, or things like that. And then, there is some deep thinking to it because you have a limited supply of meeples, and placing those meeples either in fields, cities, or roads will score you points in different ways. And so, making those decisions and choosing, do I put it on a road that'll come back relatively quickly or has the potential to come back to me relatively quickly? Or do I invest them in the field, which I won't ever get back until the end of the game, or put them in a city and try to contest my opponents for control of those? So lots of deep thinking into a very, very simple little game to learn, but it stood the test of time. So Carcassonne.
And there's a Carcassonne for every season.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
So, even from my first Carcassonne for, what was it, 4+?
Something like that,
Something like this, all the way up to, Starfarers. So whatever your theme that you like,
Yep.
there's a Carcassonne probably for it.
Probably so.
And those are our picks for games every gamer should own. Our last category today for our 2017 holiday gift guide is going to be that brand new shiny game. The game that came out in 2017 that maybe the person you're buying for or you yourself don't have yet. Joe?
Well, my pick was from Kevin Wilson. And with IDW Games, they come out with a co-op game that I really enjoy, and that's Escape from 100 Million B.C. This is a Euro game that's steeped with theme. Basically, you've been ripped back in time, you and your friends and a scientist. You have the parts of the time machine strewn all over prehistoric Earth. And you have to go out, you have to find these time machine parts. While you're doing it, you need to dodge dinosaurs or fight dinosaurs, or you could be in the swamplands, in the oceans, and you're looking for all these things that got ripped back in time, like JFK. All of these things that shouldn't be there, it's going to cause a paradox if you leave them behind. So it's a really cool game, and I'm glad that I picked this one up, and I suggest you do too.
This game has the pandemic level beatdown.
Yeah, it does.
And,
It does.
yeah, it is fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a really great game. I get a feeling similar to that of Eldrick when I play it. You called it a Euro game. I'm not sure that applies because it's got a whole lot of theme and a whole lot of fighting, so it might be right down that Amerithrash aisle way, but great choice.
Mm-hmm. Well, mine is obviously Necromunda. I mean, this is the year of Necromunda. So I get paid every time I say Necromunda, so I'm going to say Necromunda again. This game, classic from GW, is coming back this year of gang warfare in the hive cities of the 41st millennia. This year, they're introducing a 2D version with board tiles. More for, I think, to introduce people that haven't played it, and also make the game a little bit more portable so stores can pick it up for organized play and things like that if the store doesn't want to invest in a table full of 3D terrain. But the 3D rules for the normal game of Necromunda that people who have played it know of are available through a supplement book that they're putting out called Gang War, and that's coming out on Black Friday when it releases. So Necromunda.
Yeah, I think the last full box of it might have been in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
so
I think so.
That one, we may be pushing 20 years.
Yeah,
since
they put out that book. I think around 2000ish. That was just the kind of combined rules.
Yeah,
but we haven't had a major box release in a long time, so I'm really excited.
My pick for that 2017 game everybody must have is Simon's Godfather, Corleone's Empire. We got this one, and I'll be perfectly honest with you. They put Eric Lang's name on the cover. I'm so excited. And they put the Godfather theme on it. So there was no choice but for me to pick this game up. We did, and I'll admit, it's really not Godfather themed, but I feel like it's mobster themed. Mm-hmm. It is a heavily interactive worker placement game. Mm-hmm. Those two things don't usually go together, but it works really well in this one. And every choice you make and every choice everybody else make plays into the whole picture of how the game's going to turn out. We've had an opportunity to play it a few times this year, and I absolutely love the Godfather Corleone's Empire.
My favorite part of that is the area control aspect, because not only are you vying for, to get the guns that you need or the drugs or whatever, or the territories at that time, you're building up the areas to where I have dominance here. And that actually counts near the end of the game. So the area control, it's easy to kick someone out and put them in the Hudson. And it's exciting. It's fun.
Yeah, the separation of your family members taking control of almost nexus points of the city so they can count for multiple regions, and then your hired muscle are more specific to the block,
Right.
It's really, really neat setup of mechanics there that they use.
And those are our 15 picks for you and your holiday shopping ideas. We hope you've enjoyed them. Hopefully they'll help you out. For Roll to Hit Gaming, I'm Lucas.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Chip.
Merry Christmas.